Morning everyone, Chris here from Ollie's TV. Still with a croaky throat. I just wanted to come back on this morning to not re-react, because the reaction you got at full time last night is my honest assessment at the time. But I've seen the highlights, etc., now, and I think I just need to clear a few things up on what my aggravation is and irritation at the minute. So the players that pull on the shirt and go out there and get my support, and always will, for the entirety of that match. And I'm not questioning from last night the effort that was put in. Everyone tried on that pitch. It's my aggravation is with the top level of this club, whether it be the current ownership or the previous, that a club that's just dropped out of the Premier League, and not like we dropped out last time where, not a pot to pee in and all the rest of it, a club that's just dropped out of the Premier League due to its own negligence and horrendous stewardship has shot itself in the foot, where we can't even field a full squad for a first team match 3 games into the season, with no options off the bench to change the game. When I say, like I did last night, that certain players I don't think are good enough, it's because I don't think they're good enough for Leeds United and where we currently stand. That's nothing against them personally. And there was players last night who went out and tried and gave everything, which sometimes is all we can ask. And on a match-by-match basis, yes, it's all we can ask. My frustration is that these are the players we're having to settle with after the 3 years in the Premier League where we didn't improve the squad at all. Those that we brought in to improve the squad have just thrown the toys out the pram and buggered off again and left these poor saps holding the mantle. And I do feel sorry for them for that. Again, on reflection this morning, I've seen the highlights. I didn't know it was handball for the goal. I hadn't seen it back. I said that last night. But their goal shouldn't stand. I think there was talk of maybe us having a penalty as well. Yeah, I don't know on that. I haven't seen that. And West Brom were garbage last night. Worse than us garbage. At least we tried, ran about a bit, and tried to do stuff. Not very well. The execution wasn't very good a lot of the time. But we tried. Dan James had a better match, I agree, compared to some of his other performances. But do I see him as being good enough for where Leeds United should be right now? People saying, there's still 10 days left to the transfer window or whatever. Fine. But why are we here right now? It shouldn't be this way. That's my irritation. And I hope people can understand that. And that's walking out of the ground last night after watching that for 90 plus minutes. I've stood there and just been absolutely gobsmacked at where this club has managed to get itself again. And the current owners are part of the problem. People saying, we'll go heavy in the transfer window for the last week. Have you not been around Leeds very long? Have you not been around previous ownerships and the lies we've been fed? Angus Kinnear's still spewing lies now. On his bits yesterday, I think Joe did a piece on it. I don't believe anything that comes out of these people's mouths until it actually happens. And the way I see it now, currently, of a club that have dropped out, you've got Southampton getting 50 plus million for Lavia and stuff like that. Leicester selling Maddison, Harvey Barnes. It shows how bad our recruitment was and the contracts we put in place with our recruitment. When we almost can't get a dime for most of our players that were brought in to strengthen at the Premier League level. I hope now you can see my frustration and where I'm coming from. Fair play to the players last night for running around and, working hard and all the rest of it. But for me, for where this club is right now, or should be, that's not good enough. Do you get me? I know people are saying, you know, it's the best we could have expected last night. I actually predicted a loss last night. That's what I'm expecting at the minute. So they did better for me than expected. But I'm just so sick of this football club being run like a circus. And seeing that last night, I've got absolutely no issues with Daniel Farker, who thought I was having a pop at him. None. I do think he's the right man to take us where we need to get to. I don't think that'll be this season, but I do think he needs to be believed in project-wise, and I do think he'll get us there if he's backed by the club. I've almost resigned my jury on the ownership. I think it's the fact that they've just kept Kinnear around is almost enough for me to be pretty judgy about them. But let's see what happens in the next week, 10 days. The window of opportunity is there. If I believe they'll use it or not, and, you know, maybe it's too many war wounds. I'm not sure they'll do enough. But let's see. You know, you've got to give someone the opportunity and then judge from it. The players that were on the pitch last night, like I said, they tried, but Luke Ayling is still our right back. We've never progressed in that area. You know, Pascal Strauch is still our left centre back. Would have been Cooper if he was fit. We've never progressed in that area. Left back Sam Byram did a decent enough job. You know, solid is what I'd call it, and that's what I want from my defenders more than all. Is solid. So, you know, but we've never progressed in that area. Sam's not a left back. He's a right back by trade, right wing back. You know, two lads in the middle I really like, Ampadu and Gray. I'm absolutely not bothered about Tyler Adams going. And that front four, yeah, Dan James did some, you know, some stuff last night. What I do wish for Dan James had done last night was after he got there right back the yellow card early, I wish he'd just danced on him all night. But we know DJ gets his head down and just, I think he gets his brain in a bit of a muddle. And I don't think he's good enough going forward. All right, he had a better performance last night than normally, but where's this bar set, people? You know, how much did we pay for Dan James? Let's not forget that. And we're back to, we tried hard, did a couple of nice things. Do you know what I mean? Gelhardt is lost at 10, and I don't know what Joffrey's best position is. I really don't. Who's on the right? Shacks. Bust a gut, and Shackleton will always bust your gut. But is he good enough for where we want to be and where we want to get to, or where we want to be right now, where we want to get to? No, probably not as a footballer. I'm not questioning his endeavour, but is it good enough for where we want to be? People saying West Brom are a playoff team. Not for me. They were garbage last night. Garbage. And then we've got Rutter up front, when, as I said last night, £35 million. I mean, talk about having your pants pulled down. It's almost up there with the JKA fiasco at the minute for looking like money badly spent. So, and Melier, you know, made a good save, but the keeper's there to make saves, and it was a good save, but most of the time he looks like his head's on a mad spin and he can't correlate his thoughts, especially with the ball at his feet. I don't know what happened to the lad that debuted against Arsenal in the cup and was pinging it about for laughs. Maybe this club's just ground him down that much, and he's been behind such a poor defence for so many years that he can't be bothered anymore. But, you know, I hope that makes it a bit clearer for people. My frustration isn't with the manager, isn't necessarily with the players. I get frustrated with the players during a game because I want them to do better. But I also understand that probably half of these players can't do a lot better than that. But at least they've hung around and put the shirt on, you know, so kudos for that. And they always get my support during a game. But I come on here like other content creators to give you my honest opinion. Like I said, when I came on last night, I hadn't watched the replay. I hadn't really looked online at anything. So I was giving you a cold, hard view of what me and many others around where I was stood were thinking. So I wasn't fishing for views or anything else, or what people wanted to come at me with, or just being pessimistic and moody. And, you know, are you ever happy, lad? Yeah, I'm happy when I see my football team being treated properly by the people who are the custodians of it. And it's had the pants pulled down again by the previous ownership and certainly the director of football. And at the minute, and again, I've warned about these investments groups. They might come good, but I have warned about the pitfalls or potential pitfalls of them. So don't be surprised. So they've got the rest of the transfer window. They have to give Farke the tools to do the job. He's trying his best. I can't imagine how difficult his job is at the minute with players like Nonto sulking. I mean, great timing, putting your transfer request in half an hour before kickoff or whatever it was yesterday. Classy, as he's ever been. We need to get out these absolute screamers that don't want to be here. The problem is, to progress, we still need to get out, really, and we're not going to be able to do it because of everyone's moved down tools. But the players who aren't good enough, and that sounds harsh, but aren't good enough to be here, but we need players in who are good enough to be here. So all this palaver and getting rid of the wet wipes who don't want to be here and fight is slowing us down transfer window wise, because Farke probably can't make the moves he wanted to this window because we're trying to stop the leaks of all these tantrum throwers who want away, which means then we move into a January transfer window where everyone's cost goes up. So you can't do a big build job in a January. So you're a year down the line because we've not been able to replace and again, it's just a few names and it's nothing against them personally. Shax, Aileen, Pascal, whoever, we've not been able to replace them and get better players in that Farke wants, because we're too busy trying to repair this absolute horror show because of ridiculous contracts that Victor Orta and his motley crew put in place. So that's where all my frustration comes from. I hope that's clearer for you all. I'm going to leave it there because it's early on a Saturday morning. I'm going to have a coffee and try and chill out. But I wanted to react to a lot of your comments last night, and not in a negative way. I clearly wasn't coming across like I meant to in the cold light of day and reacting immediately to a match. And, a match can look different in the ground to on the TV. I've always said that. And to many in the ground last night, that wasn't good enough. But probably all we should expect, right? So I'm going to leave it there. Please hit that like button, hit that notification button, smash the subscribe, get your comments in, etc., etc. I'm off for a coffee. I will catch you later. Bye-bye.